July 27th, 2020 regular meeting of council to order at 5:03 p.m. Could I have a mover seconder, please? Dean and Gary. All in favor? Thank you. Anybody see anything on the consent agenda they want to move to the regular agenda? I think it was mainly just some 3 or 4 correspondence items, if I remember correctly. Yeah,
there was
nothing much. Okay. Given that, we'll move on to agenda item 2.2, that the Council of the Town of Kindersley resolves to adopt the agenda for the July 27th, 2020 regular meeting of council as presented, and that a copy of this agenda be attached to and form part of the minutes of this meeting. And I need a mover and a seconder for that. Rob and Randy. All in favor? Gary, thank you. Just call if anybody sees anything on the agenda they feel they have a conflict of interest on. I believe Monica and I went through it this afternoon and we didn't see anything at all. So we're good. Agenda item 4.1, that the Council of the Town of Kindersley resolves, whereas the time being 5:04 p.m., that the regular meeting of council be adjourned to a confidential in-camera meeting. Again, a mover and a seconder, please. Randy and Gary. All in favor? Gary, thank you. The seconder for that, Dean and Randy. All in favor? Carry. Thank you. Okay. Agenda item 5.2, that the Council of the Town of Kindersley resolves to amend the agenda of the July 27th, 2020 meeting, regular meeting of council, to add item number 7.3, amending a contract. And again, I need a mover and seconder, please, Gary and Rob. All in favor? Okay. Agenda item 6.1, that the Council of the Town of Kindersley resolves to approve as presented the minutes from the July 13th, 2020 regular meeting of council, and that these minutes be attached to and form part of the minutes of this meeting. Mover and seconder, please. Andy Dean. In favor? Okay. Agenda item 7.1, financial report, Audrey.
Yeah, through the mayor to council. So basically we're halfway done, 50%. There's only one new item. The other ones have been on there. So the only one that is a little off now is just the airport's expenditures, and that's just the budgeted maintenance hasn't been completed on that, which is a large part of that budget. So otherwise the other ones were on there previous months.
Any questions on that, council? Self-explanatory. Okay, agenda item 7.2, that the Council of the Town of Kindersley resolves that in accordance with the Tax Enforcement Act, the CAO is hereby authorized to proceed with tax enforcement on those properties listed in Schedule A to tax enforcement report to council as attached to and forming part of the minutes of this meeting. Audrey, do you want to comment on that?
Yeah, so these in January, go back in November, you were presented with a list of properties that had arrears of taxes. In January, those who had not paid up, a lien was placed on January 9th. So then after that, there's a 6-month waiting period after the lien goes on, and then we can do the next, we do the 6-month notice of intent. So we just need a motion that we can continue on those properties that still are in arrears of taxes.
Any questions?
When ones that are in arrears, they can come in and go or ask for some kind of payment plans?
Yes,
Can they, or
yes, they can. But once tax enforcement is started, tax enforcement continues to proceed.
Okay.
But once the 6-month notice is over and it goes to provincial mediation, them making their payments, that all gets given to the provincial mediation board.
It's out of our hands then.
And then it's out of our hands, but they can see that they've been making payments and that sort of stuff. But as soon as they make payment on their arrears and their arrears are at zero, then the lien comes off and everything stops.
So,
Yeah.
Any further questions, council? Seeing none, I need a mover and a seconder to approve that list. Rob? Gary? All in favor? Okay, thank you. This one is agenda item 7.3, the one we added. That the Council of the Town of Kindersley resolves to authorize AECOM to submit a change order to the contact contract for the lagoon project, which shall remove the desludging component and proceed with the dredging and centrifuge component for the lagoon project, and to enter into an agreement with TKC Trucking and Picker Services to provide said dredging and centrifuge components. That's a mouthful, Kim. Maybe give us a Reader's Digest version.
Sure. So basically, this is our lagoon project. When we originally went out for tender, the project was awarded to Contact, and it was all inclusive. So it included all components of the project, including constructing the new cells, building the pump house, and then desludging the lagoon. So the desludging component that was included in the original lagoon project, the process was to de-water the lagoon. So basically take as much water, drain it as much as we could, and then a desludger would go in, basically try to get all the solids, and then they would load that up into vac trucks, haul it to our old lagoon, where
The old landfill.
old landfill, and it would be stored there until the material dried enough that we could use it on top of our old landfill as a final, and then we would cap it over top. So it would help us in the decommissioning of the landfill. So that was the process. And then we kind of looked at that, and we looked at, is that the type of process that we want to use, taking everything into account, the amount of time it would take, the cost it would take to do it, other contributing factors like obviously the smell that would come off of that process, and how long that smell would last, especially if the product is sitting in a final, basically a drying bed, and every time the wind would hit it or fresh rain would land on it, the smell would go out into the community again. So we're trying to look at what are some other options to try to decrease the smell. So we looked into microbiology. We did do a test site out at the lagoon where we introduced some microbiology into the lagoon, but because our lagoon, the sludge that's in there, it's been in there for so long, it's like a 70 to 100-year-old lagoon that's never been desludged before. There's a lot of solids and grit, and it would take a long time and probably would never really fully clean it to the extent that we need it cleaned. So then another option that we looked at was a centrifuge option. So basically what that does is it tries to get as much of the liquid out of the solids as possible, and we're hoping, and it should be dry enough that so we won't need to de-water the lagoon, so we won't have it down all the way, so hopefully that will help with the smells. And then the dredger that will come in has a mulcher on it. It'll then go into the centrifuge, and once it goes through the centrifuge, the material will be kind of like gummy in consistency, and it shouldn't be as it won't be in as much of a liquid form, and it will be able to be hauled in like end dump trucks, which we can place immediately on the landfill face and cap right away. So we won't have that sitting out in the open, open atmosphere for as long, and getting, we're trying to contain the smells to as small of a time window as possible. So in doing that, we went out for pricing and trying to figure out the best action. And so what this is just removing the existing process from the contract. So we'll do that by change order. AECOM will prepare that change order. And then this resolution also sets what process that we're going to use in the company to enter into an agreement with. So council has any questions about that?
Basically,
Pardon?
So thanks for putting a dress on that, Dave.
Yeah. And with that, we'll try to do as much like social media and advertising to the public as possible. We're hoping to start this. It should take the process to do the dredging and the centrifuge and hauling. We're hoping in around the 60-day mark, 60, 70-day mark. And so the community is going to expect it's not going to be pretty, like, you know, it's going to be a 24-hour type process to try to get it done as quickly as possible. But it will smell, but we're hoping, or we know that when the project is complete and our lagoon is put back into commission, ongoing we won't have the smells, and our lagoon's going to have a lot better water quality treatment than it does now.
And the alternative was maybe 2-3 years of stench because of
Yeah, if not more,
the other program.
probably.
So it might not be good, but it'll be hopefully as short as possible. The shortest it can be.
The shortest it can be, for sure, for sure.
I would also point out, this is not an easy decision for council, nor was it an easy project for Kim to come to these conclusions, but we were left, we've been on life support with our sewage system for 4 or 5 years simply because it's full. It was done, and that's why we had to make some tough decisions. We're ending up spending more money to desludge and centrifuge it, but I think it's a short-term pain for a long-term gain. We're probably never going to have to desludge this lagoon again with the system they've got set up now. At least that's what engineers tell us. So it's been a bit of a process, but I think we've made the final decision here tonight to move ahead and let's get it done. Given that, if nobody's got any comments, I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Dean, second by Mary. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Agenda item 8.1, that the Council of the Town of Kindersley resolves to accept as submitted the list of accounts as paid by the Town of Kindersley in the amount of $1,022,837.50. And that a copy of said accounts be attached to and form part of the minutes of this meeting. CAO, Audrey, did you get any queries from council on this?
No, I didn't.
Nothing? Sounds like a lot of money, but 175,000 is the industrial area, $500,000 is school tax remittances, and another, must be something here for the lagoon too somewhere. Well, Norton Ritchie Center, flooring.
You had a contact in this.
No, I don't think this.
No, we didn't have anything on the contract. I think we missed that this time. I'm sure there's another one to come.
I'm sure there will be, yes.
Okay, so if there's no questions, could I have a mover and a seconder? Rob?
Sure.
All in favor? Okay. Agenda item 9.1, that the Council of the Town of Kindersley resolves to approve the consent agenda, and basically it's to operational report, 2021 monthly fee notification from Sask Waters. I'm going to flip that. What the fee is going to be, did you see it there?
That's actually good news, Your
It
Worship.
remains the same.
Correct.
No increase for the fee for the water.
Yeah, which is the first time ever, so.
Yeah. Better touch wood on that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so I need a mover and a seconder. Dean? Randy? All in favor?
Your Worship, you can remove the next three, the three tabs.
Okay. I
Short.
wasn't looking. That's If then, okay, agenda item 13.1, that the council of town of Kindersley resolves that all business having been concluded, the July 27th, 2020 regular meeting of council be adjourned at 7:08 p.m. All in favor? Roll call. Mover and seconder, Robin Dean.
I'll do all three.
All in favor?